Welcome back to the Muay Thai Guys podcast. We're on episode number 105. Sean Fagan, Mr. Muay Thai Guy, Paul Reaper Banasiak, Mr. Muay Thai Athlete, back at it again, live on Facebook to those listening on iTunes. Thank you for downloading. Hopefully, you're starting to leave some reviews. It's been a little bit of a while since we got to feature anyone on the podcast, so we would love to hear what you have to say about the podcast. We'll feature your name. If you don't want to be featured, let us know. However, we would love to shout you guys out and tell a bit about your story and your snippet about the podcast. So welcome back. How are you doing, my brother?
Doing well. Like we were saying before we started recording, it's been a little bittersweet saying bye to everybody and knowing that everyone's going back to normal life. And the island, even though the full moon party is going on right now, the island still seems quiet in a way because nobody that was part of the camp is here anymore. And so it's just the Muay Thai guys now and
we
a couple
live
people
a different life.
Yes, indeed. But yeah, things are going well, man. These past 2 months have been amazing with the Thailand camps that we've been hosting at Diamond Muay Thai. And just we've literally had people from all over the world. Leah from Switzerland just fought last night. She won in the first round after training really hard for the entire month. We had Arch from the Netherlands, Ali and Adam from the States. We had people literally from all parts of the world, and it's such a beautiful thing when they can all come together, all different ages, backgrounds, religions, and everyone just got along so well. And it's such an easy job for us to just bring these people together, because then once they're together, everyone just gets along great, and then the training just speaks for itself. The trainers at Diamond Muay Thai are top level dudes, and yeah, even though it's sad saying bye, I'm super excited for our next camps in February, and I can't wait to greet the next group and take this shit to the next level again, man.
Yeah, it's really interesting even looking at the different groups because how the characters kind of mold together depending on who's within the camp. Like we have our groups of people that are like extremely serious, the groups of people that are kind of doing a mold of the two, like exploring the island, having fun, but also training and trying to challenge themselves. Then the people that kind of have to get kicked in the ass to get to the gym to be spoken to, either by the trainers or by ourselves. And then and then when we all meet together for the team dinners, it's kind of a forceful way for everyone to come together and like reconvene about everything that's going on.
Yeah, it's been so cool, man. And it's so cliche, but I really feel like these are lifelong connections that we're making with these people. And the fact that we know people in all parts of the world makes it that much easier to travel and know people when we do travel. And it's an amazing time we're living in, man. And we want to make sure everyone who's listening is, you guys are invited. Please come to Thailand, experience this one-of-a-kind trip where it's a blend of paradise and vacation, but with also some like high-quality, intense training. We'll make sure to show you like the best spots on the island in regards to food and hanging out. And while you're here, like we're gonna be transitioning into how to chase your dreams and stuff. But in relation to Muay Thai training and your Muay Thai dreams, being in Thailand and away from all the distractions and responsibilities of regular life back home gives you a perspective on how things could be if you were living in Thailand full time, training, fighting, and trying to make it work that way. Whether that's your goal or not is besides the point, but just to give you a different perspective on how things could be and how you can relate it back to normal life in the States. Because one of the things that I know that I had to deal with before I was able to make the move out to Thailand is every time I came back from Thailand, it was a struggle, man, because you always had different people, like I said, pulling you all different directions. You had negativity. You had people telling you should be getting a normal job. You should be doing normal things. You should be wasting your time doing all this kind of shit. And it's really easy to lose sight of what your dreams are and start to doubt what your dreams are, because no one, at least no one in my very few people, I would just say in my life back in New York, believes in what I do or understands. Definitely nobody understood what the fuck I was doing. Some people believed in it, but more or less fighting, traveling the world, doing these camps and stuff, people just understand it. And so Yeah, transitioning to our main topic, man, how to like chase your dreams and really fulfill them. What made you think of that topic in the first place? What brought that in mind?
It was one of the questions that we were receiving from the fans. We've been trying to kind of interact a little bit more on Instagram and the questions that we've been getting from people. And a number of people were just asking about how to deal with those that don't believe in what you're doing when it feels like you're the only one, whether it's in your area, in your life, like you're the only one trying to live this type of lifestyle and no one really understands it. So you do feel alone. And then having to constantly explain it to people that just, whether they want to understand it or not, sometimes it feels like you're not doing the right thing when you're explaining it to them and they don't even want to really hear the answer. And that's definitely been the case when I first started and the people that I was speaking to. I think I kind of had a good leeway because of in a way of explaining it, because I was also in college. I was also working. So I was doing all the things that, I was supposed to do. So people were kind of looking at it like, okay, if that's the hobby that Paul wants to chase, we'll let him do it. That's how my family looked at it as well. He's doing all the right things. He's following the blueprint, he's working a job, he's going to college. Once he finishes college, this little hobby of his will go to the side and it'll be all over when it was the complete opposite.
Yeah, it's funny because you were almost. I mean, were you trying to convince yourself in a way that like you should be following the blueprint that everyone's giving you, or were you trying to just like satiate the people in your life that thought that you should be following the thing that everyone else is doing?
I think it was a mix of the two because I wanted, in a way, to have a safe space and I wanted to obviously make my family proud. I think most people do want to do that. There are definitely people out there that are, the rebel type. They do the complete opposite of what they're told they should do. But me growing up, in a way, I was kind of a golden child. Like I was an adventurous person. I was super open minded, but I was never someone that really got in trouble. I had all the best grades that I can. I graduated with high honors in high school. I had close to a 4.0 by the time I graduated college, and I did everything the way that I was supposed to do. But I was kind of doing it in a fuck you type of way, but it was all centered within my own mind. So it wasn't something that I was doing to satiate others. It was almost like I was satiating myself by getting it done, just so no one had anything else left to say at the end of the day. It's like, I showed you what I'm capable of. Now watch me do what I want to do.
I think that's something that's a lot of people struggle with is trying to balance out what they want to accomplish and what their dreams are, along with trying to keep everyone else happy in their life because they feel like they owe their parents something, they owe their friends something, they owe people a certain way of living. And I think once you're able to kind of break free from that mindset and realize that this is your life and you need to be doing what you need to be doing and want to be doing, then it really kind of changes your perspective on things. It makes you want to pursue things in a way that most other people don't pursue them. And so, kind of going on that same topic
I have a
with
question before you even finish that thought. I have a question. Do you think that a part of that is a fear of losing dependency because you have some type of security in your family, let's say, like things to fall back on or for people to support you? And I feel like a lot of people perhaps may feel like if they don't do what they are told, then they lose all type of security, and then dependency is no longer something that they can use. They have to depend on themselves to be independent.
well, yeah, it's a very uncomfortable feeling being alone and not having any safety net or support system. But at the same time, when it comes to doing big things and reaching for the reaching for the stars, essentially, like you got to burn your boats, you got to be able to go out on a limb and really pursue the things that you feel passionate about. Otherwise, you're kind of living in someone else's life's plan. You're kind of going through society's plan for you as opposed to doing your own. And it's really easy get lost in that because like you said, you feel comfortable. You feel like you have that safety net. You feel like you can always go back to working a normal job, or your family can support you. You could always move back home. You could always do this and that. But once you kind of burn those bridges in a way, it's like fuck, like I gotta make this work. And it's funny that you bring that up because a common friend of ours, Sturgos, he's living proof of that. And I think
Oh man.
like tell a little bit of story about him and like because what he's doing is really incredible because he's been broke. He's been trying to pursue his passion for Muay Thai and do it in the best way possible. But obviously, Muay Thai is not a lucrative career, and so money can come up short. But what's been going on with Sturgos? And share a little bit insight on him because he has a really inspiring story.
Yeah, perhaps we should even have him live on the podcast, but just to cover like the general story and what I know of it, obviously, like there's a lot more detail to it. There's a lot more events that happened and unfolded throughout his life, but he was someone that grew up pretty much in foster homes. You know, he never really had parents. And then when his grandparents gave him the opportunity to come to the States to move away from Greece, he took the opportunity and he moved from Greece to the States. He was in Connecticut. And as a younger kid, when he was really, really young, he had a giant bowl of soup that was on top of the oven that kind of came down on his head and it burnt scars into his head all over his body that, you know, he had pretty much bald spots on top of his head that he was really embarrassed of. So he would grow out his hair to cover it. He was bullied as a kid. He definitely didn't come up with any type of money. Everything he had to do, he had to fend for himself. So although he lived with his grandparents, you know, they didn't give him anything. Nothing was handed to him. They didn't have money themselves. So once he started fighting, he came to the gym. I remember he came into our gym, and I was hearing some of the people from his prior gym talking about him. They would message me, they would talk to me and just talk about him being a human punching bag, how, you know, he's kind of wasting his time within the gym, you know, but no one really stopped to actually teach him, you know, like he was such a passionate person. And I believe that anyone that has, you know, just the right type of mental attitude and kind of perseverance, no matter what, they're the type of person that are going to just soak everything in, but you have to give them a willing chance to do that. So he ended up living with his grandparents, and more recently he moved to Thailand. He spent all of his money. He used to have a really, you know, guys that are just kind of like motorheads and they buy old cars, they fix them up. So he was a mechanic for a number of years, and he had this car that was just his baby. You know, he took it out like maybe a few days during the summer. Then he would just keep it clean, work on it during the winter and all the other months. And he ended up selling, you know, the thing that was closest to him. He ended up selling his regular car, everything that he had back home. And then he just moved into a bag and moved to Thailand. He spent all his money. His fought competition that is, you know, 10, 20, 30 times the experience, like fighting like Thai stadium champions, fighting Chinese world champions, superstars with 50 plus fights. One of the fighters that just fought on Glory, guys that have been fighting on these giant shows forever. And those are his first, second, third, fourth, fifth pro fight. And now he's fighting for ONE FC, the biggest, highest paid promotion in the world for striking. And he ran out of money again, went back to Greece, you know, kind of recentered himself, kept training, kept his runs up, you know, doing everything that you have control of. You know, it's something that we speak about over and over again. Like, you might not have the best conditions. You may have not been born into the best conditions, but you do have control of, you know, what can you do with your body? You don't need anyone to be able to go out there and run and stay in shape and shadow box and to research and to expand knowledge in your brain. So now his moving back to Thailand. He's back in Thailand right now. He has an upcoming fight on the 8th on ONE FC again. And he found a lady in Greece and is moving with her to Thailand. So very similar story to my, you know, to mine, you know, moving back to Thailand just to live this lifestyle. I think it's It's something like I posted a status the other day just saying, for everyone, for every kind of excuse now that anyone has ever told me, I have a story to tell you. I've met so many people over these past few years here in Thailand, and most of which don't like pretty much have less than I ever had before I got ready to come to Thailand. So the ones that have the most excuses actually have probably the most channels of getting here. There's just the disconnect between like action and whatever the thoughts and dreams are in their head.
I think one of the most important things that you're discussing is essentially not having the victim mentality and just owning your shit, just owning your situation, being responsible of your actions and your life situation, because it's so easy to want to blame other people for where you are, or what decisions you made in your life because of one reason or another. But I found that the most successful people in any aspect of life just own their shit and move on with it. And like whether they have control of a situation or not, they make the best of it, and they are able to take a step back from it and really reassess how they're going to react to it. They don't, I mean, sometimes they act emotional, but they're always rational in their thoughts in regards to what they need to do in order to make their dreams a reality. And I think the successful people are really centered around their dreams, and they don't let anything else get in the way. They don't let excuses get in the way. And like, to live your dreams, I mean, it's not going to be easy. It's not like, if it was easy, it wouldn't even be like worth attaining. So if you didn't make all those sacrifices, if you didn't go through all the hardships, if you didn't have the losses, the times where you had no money, the all these bad experiences, it wouldn't make the good experiences of accomplishing your goals and reaching your dreams as satisfying and just like deep deep meaning behind them as you just were able to. It's like winning a fight that you beat this motherfucker up who just didn't deserve to be in your ring, you know? Like that does not feel good. I mean, to some people it might, but like to me, when I beat someone who's just not in my level, like that doesn't do anything for me. Same idea and concept goes with life. Like I when I accomplish small goals, like that doesn't do anything for me. Even when I accomplish big goals, like I'm always striving for more. And I think it's just like you were talking about, this is like you're addicted to achieving and just always wanting to achieve more and more and trying to achieve bigger and better things on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. And that all comes from just owning your shit, man. Like you said, like for every excuse that someone comes up with, I know someone who has it 10 times worse who still was able to make it happen. And I think if you have that mindset moving forward and you just stop making fucking excuses, I mean, that opens up the whole world to you, man, and anything is possible.
Yeah, like we would have kids at our gym, and I remember we had this 19-year-old kid, and I was talking to his parents. He was going off to college and things like that, and there was a possibility of him going to Thailand, and he was someone that was dedicated and kind of chasing it in a way, but he would miss some practices, and then you found out why. He had a girlfriend, 19-year-old. Sometimes you have we don't always think straight, right? So especially at that age, being getting out of high school, then his girlfriend probably didn't want him to be parading around in Thailand or something like that, some type of insecurity issue. And then you're 18, you're like, no, I love her. I'm going to be with her forever. But I, I mean, just look forward a few years, like I might have thought that too when I was like 17, 18 years old, but looking back at that now, it's like obviously that's not the type of person that you want to be with in the first place. Someone that's going to stop you from doing something that's magnificent, that's something that's going to be something out of the ordinary, or something that, is just going to take your life out of what you used to think of as average. And this is what I talked about in the recent status that I posted I ran across a video of me in the corner, and it's right before my last round. I'm fighting a fighter that has at least 20 pounds on me. He's a bigger opponent. I'm here in Thailand. It's my last fight. I had a lot of injuries going into the fight. I had This is one of the times you feel excruciating pain. I mean, I had really terrible pain before I even went in the ring. I would wear two pairs of shin guards. I saw you doing this before, the slip-on shin guard and the
You
thick
got
shin guard on top. And my shin was still bruised. It still hurt from the fight before, which was only 12 days prior. And I went into the fight. Namsak Noise was really worried about me throwing my left kick, which is like one of my biggest weapons. And to prove myself to my instructor, to myself, to everyone that was there, no one knew it. It was really to me. I don't think Namsak Noy would have cared either, but it was really proving it to me. And I'm in the corner, and you just hear me screaming at myself. Like they're talking to me, and I'm just going, ah, ah. And you just hear me kind of breathing out as hard as I can to just create energy, because I had no energy. I had so much pain in my leg. And I went out that round. They were telling me to just teep and jab. I was winning the fight on points. I was ahead on points. So you know how they say last round, just kind of teep, jab, keep them away, take your victory. But instead I just left kick over and over, and it hurt so fucking bad. And that's the thing, is not everyone is willing to do that. Not everyone wants to do that, right? Not everyone is comfortable with that. And even when you put in the hardest amount of work, there's a number of times where I put in more work than I could have ever imagined. I sacrificed more than I ever would have. There are fights where I didn't do much and I had to win. And then there are the fights where all of that happened. I let go of everything. I put in more work than I thought I ever would have. I went through the entire fight camp and I said, okay, that's it. That's everything. I left it all out there. I left my soul in the ring, and it's still not enough. You still lose, and that's the beautiful thing about fighting, is that you never know. You never know the outcome. You never know what's going to happen. And even when you think the fight is in the bag, right? Like you should beat this guy, you still never really know what's going to happen. Like at a 9 to 5 job, or most things that we do in life, we do to have the comfort of knowing what's going to happen next. People really like that. It's really comfortable. But there's nothing exciting about it. And I think that's why people really respect fighting, why people respect what we do, why it seems so extravagant. Because
yeah.
you never fucking know what's about to happen, man. And then that's the exciting part.
I think a lot of people, I mean, it goes back to what I was saying before. It's easy to be content and comfortable. I mean, you don't feel any pain or discomfort. And so, why would I ever want to feel pain or discomfort? Like, that's not a pleasant feeling. So, why would I ever put myself through that? But once you shift your mindset to realize that, like, pain and discomfort is where true growth comes from. Like, that's where you're really living life and you're learning and you're improving and you're just evolving. If you're just content and comfortable and doing the same things on an everyday basis, being ordinary, being average, you're just drifting, man. You're just a fucking drifter. And you're just going through life. You're not making any impact. You're not making any footprint on this world. And if you're not doing that, then what the fuck are you doing? If you're not pursuing your dreams, then like, I don't know. It just drives me crazy. And I'm sure I'm going to offend some people, but if you're just drifting through life and going through the motions and not really trying to make a difference in one form or another, then what are you doing with your life? I mean, you got this one life that's a beautiful thing. And the fact that you listen to this podcast right now, like that means you got a phone or a computer, or chances are you got a roof over your head, you got food, you got all the things that you need. And when it comes to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, like I'm sure you have basically everything under there. And then the next thing is the self-actualization and actually like growing and evolving. And you're not going to get to that point if you're just sitting in comfort and wasting away on a day-to-day basis. And I mean, to come full circle about what we were talking about in the beginning of the podcast is when we come back from Thailand to regular life and everything, it really comes down to like the people and the environment you surround yourself with, because it's so easy to get caught into the mundane day-to-day life and do what everyone else is doing just because that's what everyone does, and just drift and go through the motions and not think about what you're doing, and get the steady paycheck because that's what I was told to do. I need to buy the house because that's what I was told to do. But once you start surrounding yourself with people who are thinking outside the box, who are thinking like, yo, I need to move to Thailand, I need to make this happen, or I want to be a champion, or I want to be an entrepreneur, I want to do things that are bigger than just average. That's when you start really living that. That's when you start really thinking outside the box and be like, yo, these people are fucking doing it. Why can't I do it? And I remember when I was first my first trip to Thailand, it really opened my eyes to like other people are doing this shit. Before that, I like no one in my area besides Chris Masseri, obviously, who I still train with today, like thought the same. I thought the same philosophy and like, yo, fighting is a way of life. Like this is what I want to do. Before that, everyone thought I was crazy. They're like, how are you going to make money doing that? How are you going to make a living doing that? Why do you even do that? Why would you ever want to put yourself in that type of situation? You get brain damage, you can get hurt, you can get injured. All these reasons why not. And I'm just thinking the reasons why. Like there's so much more pros than there are cons in my mind. But at the time, because no one else thought that, it made me feel crazy. It made me feel like, yo, am I doing something wrong because no one else is thinking this way? But after I did some like deep reflection on that, I was like, no, like that means something's right. That I'm not falling into the trap that society has laid for me to just go into the blueprint that society has, and like fuck that shit. It just, I mean, someone just left a comment. Let me read this real quick because Jack Ferguson, plain and simple, bro. Doing what everybody else does will only make you the same as everybody else. And like, yo, that's it right there. If you need to do extraordinary things, or if you want to live an extraordinary life, you need to do extraordinary things, right? And in order to do that, I think you need to surround yourself with extraordinary people.
Just to bring it to a point of action, for people to take those steps, like when we're asked the question, how do I chase my dreams? No one else is seeing it. Just taking the actionable steps. I would say starting from number one, out of all things, I think this takes priority, and that's checking your circle. The people you were just talking about, the people that you're surrounded by, etc. But how can you even point this out? I was actually thinking about this the other day because I sometimes like I have people that tell me like, man, you're the kindest, nicest person. And then I have people that tell me I'm a dick. And I'm trying to think like, okay, like why am I acting like a dick? Like maybe to this person, why am I acting extremely kind to this person where I want to be nothing but nurturing to this person? And it always depends on whether I actually, it's almost like I have this, this is going to sound so annoying, but it's almost like I just have this radar, and right away I will kind of know whether I want to include this person in my circle, whether I want to include this person in my life, especially long term, right? Like if I want to be surrounded by this person for an extended amount of time, because it could be toxic. And if it's someone that, okay, let's say we're like going out to eat, and I feel like such a dick doing this sometimes. This happened, whoever it might have been. I'm sitting, I'm like, hey, like, are you gonna like, have you tried any Thai food like since you got here? No. I go, well, why? Well, I might not like it. And I'm like, yeah, but you're here for a really long time. So even if you don't, you can always go back to what you've been eating before. It's all good. It's such a little thing, but that kind of character trait kind of obviously bleeds into different parts of your life. It leaches, it bleeds into different parts of your life. It leaches at you actually, but then it bleeds into different parts of your life. So it's like, no, well, no, because I might not like it, but you have a lot of other chances. You know what I mean? Like you're given many chances. So like, why not? Maybe you don't. Cool. but you're not discovering anything new. And then it's like, then you have a conversation, and then they don't have a very broad scope on a lot of things going on in the world or how people behave. And then you run out of things to say already. I'm like, all right, well, like that's the complete person. I just peeled all the layers of the onion, which was none. Like you
One
there
layer.
was no layers to it. Yeah, and it's pretty much
You're not
over.
even an onion, bro. Like you're not even an onion. I can't even peel you. Like what the fuck's going on?
So you have to check your circle for these types. I think you just have to check your circle for these types of people. And it's cool if not everyone is going to be smart. Not everyone's going to be the most open-minded and just like soul searching and understand themselves, where you guys can reflect upon each other in whatever hippie way you want to go about it. But there are going to be people that are humorous, you know, so they bring humor, laughter into your life. They bring positivity in different ways. So that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is like you definitely have to do a deep inspection, you know, and just kind of file things away. Like, you know, every time I talk to this person, I run out of words. There's a reason for it. There's a reason why you talk to certain people and you can talk to them like, oh my God, it's like I've known you for years. We can talk forever. You know, you click on a certain level. And there are people that like after 3 sentences, you're kind of sitting there awkwardly. Like, well, okay. Or like you're constantly getting in like political debates with certain people and things like that. And that kind of leads into the next step is start unfollowing people, start blocking people, start unfriending people, because who cares? Like after, like I used to think that's like, fuck, man, I don't want to like unfriend them because they're gonna maybe see it. They're like, oh, I'm not popping up on their news feed anymore, or whatever it may be, or they check my profile, I block them. And they're gonna see and they're like, damn, Paul blocked me, and maybe they'll make a comment or whatever. At the end of the day, who fucking cares though? Because like what do you owe that person? You're gonna live your life for someone that is a person online that you're not even really friends with in real life.
I totally understand, dude. Because like it's a weird world we're living in with social media and everything. Because we were talking about this the other day. It's just like I get so many friend requests now. I guess I'm pretty popular, you know, on the Muay Thai guy. So I get friend requests often, and I love like having fans and followers and all that kind of stuff. But then all these people show up on my news feed who I don't know anything about, and I catch myself reading their stuff, and I've never met or associated or talked to this person in my life, but their thoughts and philosophies and life is infiltrating my mind. And so, like you said, I just started unfollowing everybody. I was ruthless. I am ruthless, man. Like, nah, if you have like, it's not that so I think it's important to have people in your life who also
Challenge your
not
opinion.
necessarily,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But there's levels to it. And there's some people who are just fucking annoying with their opinion. And there's other people who are actually constructive and actually like, challenge you in the right type of way. And I think it's important to have that balance. But when it comes to like achieving your goals and like spending your energy properly, you need like every aspect of your life, your social media, your physical world and your online world need to like coexist. And if they're both clashing in one form or another, whether your social media is like all nice and clean and it's being you just have all the most motivated, driven people on your social media, but in life you're all surrounded by losers who aren't doing anything with their life. That's not going to do you any good, and neither is vice versa. And so I think it's super, super important to be able to like have that ruthless attitude of just like cutting people out who just don't serve you well. I mean, like I was saying before, this you got one life, yo. Why would you spend it with people you don't like or don't get along with? Like it just doesn't make sense because you're afraid of hurting their feelings or the way that they will judge you or talk about you. Like I stopped giving a fuck about that for years now because there are going to be people who just don't like you because your face is ugly to them. You know what I mean? I think it looks like a
Is
douche.
it how
Like
funny is that? Like, no, there are people, and there was this guy walking around town today, and I think I walked by him like 6 times, and I'm like, I don't fucking like the way this guy doesn't like to smile every time he passes me. Fuck this guy. We just don't
It's
like
so
certain
funny,
people
man.
by just the way they walk by you or whatever it may be.
But it's so funny how we I mean, like people are judgmental because it's a survival instinct. Like we need to be able to judge people based off certain things. Otherwise they can like just take over our lives and our thoughts and our philosophies and our beliefs. And if we're not wary and careful about the people we interact with and associate with, it's really easy for their beliefs to start to infiltrate our beliefs. And then we're not even aware of it because it's our subconscious. And so that's why I'm going back to like, yo, you got to be ruthless with this shit. Like, I don't have many friends. I really don't have many friends at all. But my friends are like I'm close with them, man. Like I'm as tight as can be with them. And I have a small outer circle, I guess you can call it. But those
Yeah.
people, like I can interact with and associate with and can be on the same page with. Everyone outside of that, like I'll be friendly with if I run into you, or like I'm a friendly guy. I'm not gonna be like a dick unless you're a dick to me. But for the most part, man, like I keep to myself the people who inspire me and motivate me, and the people I can actually. I mean, it sounds kind of like a selfish thing, but some energy from other people that I can use in my own, and I can give back. It's reciprocity there. And if you don't have any type of reciprocity between you and this other person, then what are you wasting your time and energy for? And like I said, I think another part of it is just the way society and social media specifically makes it so easy to judge people and hate on people and to worry about how people think of you. But I'm telling you, one of the biggest pivot points in my life that has been a really important part of not just to my success, but my overall happiness is just not giving a fuck, man. Just like not giving a fuck and being me. And just, I don't give a shit if you like me or not. I'm me no matter what. And if you don't like me, then don't fucking talk to me. If you like me, then talk to me. It's all good. Like, I don't care one way or another. Like, there's like almost 7 billion people in this world. Like, I'm not going to get along with every single one of them. And if I am, then I'm not being like real. Like, fuck that, you know?
Take Sean's advice by and take Sean into account when he's saying this. Like, don't take this in the way of the people that are really failing at their life and like, I'm fucking me. So if you don't fucking like me, then you're just a hater. And like, and if you're not doing that much in your life, and like you're talking about haters, people don't really, you don't really have them yet. You know, like you're not significant enough to have them yet. So whatever parts of that you take from that, not giving a fuck, it's obviously it has to be based on something. Like you have to have an objective plan, and then once everything that we just went over, like obviously Sean is doing super well. He takes steps every single day to improve himself. He's working on himself, not in a way where I don't give a fuck what you think, but I also don't give a fuck about myself.
Yeah, exactly. And I think another point that kind of goes along with that is we were talking about this before the podcast, and a new guy you're following, Dan Locke, he was talking about what was it, not taking advice from poor people or something like that. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, who would you take? Like right now, at this point of your life, like now that you're standing here, like who would you? Because it elevates, right? Like when we first start out, it's almost like we can take advice from anyone. You're like, well, man, you're like, you have a stripe on your white belt. I'll take advice from you. You know a little bit of shit that I don't. So being at your level, which you've had your years of experience, like you moved up the belt ranks, like who would you take advice from?
Only the best, man. Only the fucking best. And whatever field that I'm looking to be a beast in and succeed in, like I'm looking at the best of the best. And like if people are
But would you
more
even
quote
think
unquote,
about all right, so anyone around you, like anyone that you grew up with, that you were friends with, let's say back in your hometown, in your high school, in your family, like are these any of the people that you think could give you millionaire advice?
no, definitely not. But like the thing is, so rewinding a little bit, having the beginner's mind is like a common theme, right? And you want to be able to learn from everybody. That doesn't mean you need to take advice from everybody. You can learn from stupid fucking advice as much as you want. I can learn that that's not what I want to do. Like,
Yeah.
thanks for like pointing that out to me. Like, I know like this dude's giving me advice. He's working a job he hates and is in a marriage that's about to break up, and he's giving me advice on what I should be doing next in my life. Yeah, I'm gonna listen to that. Great idea, bro. Like, no, like the only time I'm gonna listen to people in that aspect is when I'm listening. I'm gonna do exact opposite of what they're telling me to do, most likely. But when it comes to like, I mean, one of the best hacks to success is mimicking success and just fucking taking the blueprint of what successful people have done and implementing it into your own life. And that's what's made me successful. Is like I have like not all this stuff has been original thoughts by me, and the Muay Thai guy wasn't. I mean, the brand and everything was original, but like the whole way I ran the brand and the business and the way I fight, the way I train, like all this stuff was learned by studying people, studying high performers, and trying to really figure out what makes successful people successful. And the same goes with this whole topic. Like, how do you pursue your dreams? Well, first off, figure out what you dream over this often. We talk about you need to get clear on what your dream is. If you're not clear on your dream, then you're just going through the motions. But once you get clear on what your dream is and what you need to do to accomplish it, then you find someone who's doing almost the exact same thing and you figure out what the fuck they're doing and you do that. And you just fucking take action. I'm reading the 10X rule by Grant Cardone right now, which is it's a good book, but like the essential thesis of it is that you have to dream 10 times bigger than you usually dream and take action 10 times more than you think you're going to do. And what that basically is saying is that there's no fucking shortcuts to it. I mean, you're not going to be able to just like hack making $1 million and win the lottery one day. Like, you're going to have to put in work and do all that kind of shit. But there is a shortcut in the sense that you can, I guess there is a shortcut because you can just fucking learn from people who's made their mistakes as opposed to making the mistakes your own. And so when it comes to chasing
But the
your
work
dreams and
doesn't
accomplishing
change. And people,
the
that's what people are missing. They want the work to kind of go away, and the work doesn't change.
exactly. And I think it's so important to be able to adopt that mindset of first getting clear on what you want your dreams to be, then finding someone who's living your dream or close to your dream or parts of your dream, and then figuring out what they did and what they're doing to get there, and then doing that shit. Like, it's simple, but it's not easy. And I think that's the whole idea. Because like on paper, like, yo, this guy's only doing X, Y, and Z. Like, I should be able to do that. Well, yeah, you should be able to do that, but are you going to do that consistently on a day-to-day basis without any excuses, without any setbacks? No, most likely not. But if you are willing to put in the work, make the sacrifices, take the failures along with the successes, then you'll be able to get there one day. And I think it's a common misconception that you these like I just said, it's simple, but it's not easy. Like, you can figure out what people are doing that makes them successful, but it doesn't mean that it's going to be easy to implement whatever they're doing. And it's easy to take that shit for granted too.
Yeah, I like covering the topic of who you should actually listen to because it's really interesting how over time certain people fade away in a way, and what motivates me now. And legitimacy and honesty. It's no, to some people at a certain level of life, like you're like, oh man, he has 1 million followers. I should listen to him. Like there's people like that. But there are people that I know barely have an online presence, nothing like that, but they inspire me, and I'm going to listen to them every single day. Depending on their advice, they might be people I just met, and and I know their life story. Some people you meet, and you're like, this is a hardened person. Like, they know a lot about life, and they can serve you really, really well. And when you ask questions, this is a piece of advice I would give to anyone is that we have a hard time, especially like socially talking to people, reaching out, like, how do I reach out to this person? You know, how do I get a conversation started? And this doesn't matter. You're talking to a girl, you're talking to an entrepreneur, someone that maybe you want to connect with, network with. Just asking questions is I mean, it's so key, right? And once you hear their story, it just makes sense, and it connects with their heart and character, and there's a reason for it, and then you can listen to them. And I was looking at this the other day that there was it's this white guy, you know, like super clean cut with a business suit, and he's talking about like success, and his giving this motivational speech, and like he's saying all the right words, and they're inspiring words, and there's music in the background, and like the video is playing, and whenever it's the video, like, you know, I'm getting kind of inspired by what he's saying, but every time it goes back to his face, it's like one of those things, I don't like his fucking face kind of deal. But like, you don't believe what he's saying, you know, like, while someone else can say the same exact thing. And I was listening to Rogan, and he had Brendan Schaub on the podcast, and Brendan Schaub is someone that he likes to like really hate on things, meaning like if it's like some motivational thing or it's a diet or whatever it may be, he's always like, yeah, but is that fucking realistic? Like he questions things a lot, right? So when Joe was pulling up this speech, and it's called Good. It's a speech called Good by Jocko. He talked about it in his book. He talks about it in person and on the podcast. And they start playing it, and it's like 5 seconds in. And he goes, wait, hold up, stop the video. He's like, what? Oh, like, what is this guy's background? You know, like, so he's already like questioning. He's like what? Like, hold on, what is this guy's background? And this is advice that you guys should take. Like, that is a question that you should also ask. And Joe goes, oh, he's a Navy SEAL commander, like has worked with SEAL Team 6, SEAL Team this, SEAL Team that. And he goes, okay, I'm in. Whatever he fucking says, I'm just going to do and listen to. Like, like, whatever. If he tells me the 10 gallons of milk every single day, that's the only thing I should do. The milk diet. Okay, cool. I'm going to listen to this. Right?
No, you gotta.
I think at the end of the day, results is just what speaks.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just talking the talk. It's like the people who actually put in the action and put in the work and get the results. I mean, those are the people you want to listen to. I mean, it's funny in nowadays, coaching and consulting seems like a bigger and bigger, almost like trend or fad. I don't know what to call it exactly, but I see people like creating coaching businesses, how to teach coaches how to coach. And that's their first coaching business, is coaching coaches. I'm like, wait, how does that make any sense? Like, you've never coached anybody before or consulted in anything, but you're teaching people how to consult, even though you've never done it before. And there's so many people who are trying. I mean, I get it, and I don't want to discourage trying to be an entrepreneur and trying to step out of your comfort zone and try these things, but there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. And the right way to do it is by actually getting good at your craft and getting experience in it before you're trying to teach it. And it just goes back to what we were talking about, like getting the results on your own before trying to like show the results as you're doing it to get more results, if that makes sense. Because like if I want to coach and consult, which I go to muaythaimastermind.com if you want to find out more, but like I made sure that like I knew what the fuck I was doing, and I've created like systems and philosophies and methods that are proven and that I've studied and that I've interviewed fighters and champions from before I even thought about trying to coach people how to do it. Like, I wanted to make sure I could do it myself. And one great quote is like, in order to lead a group of people or an army or whatever you want to call it, in order to lead others, you have to learn how to lead yourself first. And if you're not disciplined, if you're not living that life that you're trying to preach, then no one should fucking listen to you. And so when you're going out to get people's advice on how to do things and you're trying to figure out who you should be getting advice from, get advice from the people who are actually doing this shit. And sometimes it's easy to like mix that up with, oh, this person has 100,000 followers, they must be doing shit right. Like that doesn't mean anything on social media and the way that the world's working right now. Popularity, I mean, it counts for something. Don't get me wrong, and it can lead to success in many ways. But I know so many successful people who have no social media following, and they're able to make a killing in whatever field they're doing. And so it just goes to show that even though they could be putting up this front that they're successful, it doesn't. Yeah, you have to be able to call out bullshit, and you have to be able to sniff that stuff out. Like you said, you need that radar, you need to sense that energy, and you need to be able to just do that over time and throughout life. Otherwise, it's really easy to get sucked into the wrong field, following the wrong advice, and that could set you back much more than you ever want to.
There's girls with 1.5 million followers that post nothing besides a picture of their ass.
Gotta listen to them. They know what they're doing. You know JP Sears, the guy who like made like if meat eaters pretending they were like vegans and like that kind of shit. He's like a
Oh
hippie,
my god,
or he
yeah,
pretends
yeah,
to be a
yeah.
hippie.
I know.
He
The
just made like
redhead.
how to become. Yeah, he just like made one how to become Instagram famous, and he essentially was like he was just posing in bikinis and stuff and taking all these like sexual photos. Oh, it was so funny. But
With
that's
inspirational quotes.
besides the point. It just emphasizes. Yeah.
If you're
Oh
listening to
man.
this and you're posting a picture that with a quote that has nothing to do with the picture, stop. Stop doing that.
No. No. You're not allowed. You're not allowed to post any more social media. You're banned. You're blocked. Oh shit, man. Well, I think we covered a pretty good amount of hopefully practical and philosophical advice in regards to how to think about pursuing your dreams. And I mean, I like to think that we're living it, and I don't want to like be arrogant or sound like I know it all, but I am living a very fortunate life. I am pursuing my dreams. I am living my dream. And so I feel like I do know a little something about being successful in this aspect. So all the things that I was saying and I've been talking about throughout this podcast are stuff I believe and I've like proven to be true by taking action and actually following through with it. So I have no doubt if you follow some of our advice and you stop making excuses, you don't play victim, you follow and mimic other people's success, and you surround yourself with the right people, that there's no doubt that you can accomplish whatever you want to accomplish. It's just a mindset shift is the most important thing. An environment shift is the second most important thing. Then after that, take fucking action. So mindset, environment, and action. That's what it's all about if you want to pursue and chase and achieve your biggest goals and dreams.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right in the middle of it. I feel like I'm like in the battlefield trying to talk about it at the very same time. Like I'm still far from the finish line. I'm sure you feel the same exact way that you're
Indeed,
far from the
indeed.
finish line as well. You know,
Just getting
as
started, bro.
quickly,
Just getting started.
yeah, as quickly as you cross it, you know, there's the next one. You know what's next. But at the same time, you know, over the years, you do pick up on tendencies, and I feel like that's the only place where I have anything to say is like I feel like I stay really quiet, especially in situations where I'm like unsure. You know, some people talk about just having confidence in whatever you're saying, but I have a really hard time unless like I've seen it proven like very objectively. I'm a pretty realistic, objective person. So, you know, if the result isn't there, then I have a hard time talking about it. But sometimes you just see tendencies in people. You see certain character traits in people, and sometimes it might be rough, just how you talked about that. You know, sometimes you're cutting off people, maybe you're judging them a little bit early and things like that. But man, like that radar, it comes from pretty much practice and meeting a lot of people and seeing how they talk over and over. And like once you connect maybe like 5 things that they say over and over again, things that they do, and see how it translates into their lives and the results, I think over time you start to build kind of an intelligence to, you know, when this person talks like this, what usually happens after? When this person takes this action, what usually happens after? You know, and like when you can connect those dots backwards like that, then you can kind of sense of get a better sense of what's right, what's wrong, like whether you want to have that person into your life or not. So thank you guys for listening. Hope that you took at least a note or two away from this one. We've been going over a lot of mindset shifting things. If you'd like any more actionable steps, objective things, like obviously we have both of our websites where there's a ton of articles, a ton of podcasts, there's video tutorials if you're looking for more specific things. Perhaps maybe we should go through some of the questions that are in the live comments.
That's a good idea. That is a good
We can
idea.
go through some of the questions. If you guys have any other topics that you would love us to cover, we would also like to reciprocate that love by covering them, giving you a shout out in the podcast. Just send an email, or you can message one of us on Instagram at the Muay Thai Guy, at Muay Thai Athlete, or Paul at MuayThaiAthlete.com for email, and then Sean at NakamWayNation.com.
Boom. So we got one question from I hope I pronounced this right, Ryad, and he was just asking what the best for self defense is in regards to martial arts, Muay Thai, Sanda, Krav Maga, boxing, and there's me personally, I don't think there's one right answer to this because I mean each martial art has its own benefit to it. And I don't know enough about other martial arts to be honest to really give a objective piece of advice on it because I mean I love Muay Thai. I think Muay Thai is a badass self defense art. But when it comes to like not just hurting your opponent, but just subduing and getting out of situation, I would feel like jujitsu would probably be on top of the list. What about you?
I really like the philosophy that Kieran has behind his system at CSA with the Croft system. He makes his Croft people attend all the jiu-jitsu. They have to do jiu-jitsu and they have to do Muay Thai and wrestling. So there's like a certain degree. Obviously, it's not at the same level as a fighter would, you know, doing Muay Thai like 6 days a week. But they have the Croft training where it's more, you know, situation specific because, you know, there's no rules on the street when you're defending yourself. So there are things where you're going to be able to do things that are illegal in the ring, but on the street when you're defending for and fending for your own life, things are different. You have a shirt on, you have clothes on, there are different objects around you. So getting comfortable in this situation, you have to put yourself in that situation, whether there's a weapon, a gun, whatever it may be. So if you're doing the Krav training, but then you're also cross training using jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai, you're going to know the applicable way of doing everything most efficiently. I think that's a pretty good like all-in-one type of way of going about it.
Well said. Well said. We got another comment from Ryan Pe, and he was saying, I'm pursuing a degree in business management, but I really dream to become a fighter and hopefully an instructor in the future. It's really a dilemma for me because I want to have a stable job with a good career advancement, but I don't want to live a life regretting that I didn't pursue my passion. It's a really tough choice. Plus, I'm only my first year into Muay Thai, BJJ, and MMA. What type of advice would you give him, Paul?
I would say to continue both. Like we've talked about this before, where I kind of I shifted certain priorities. It wasn't all in one move. Like, oh well, fuck this. Let me drop my degree. I'm going to quit my job when I don't actually have any money, and I'm going to start this because it's like, you know, it's the great thing to do. I'm chasing my dream right now. You have to be intelligent at the same time, and you know, we talk about chasing dreams, but you have to be objective and rational. Like you have to be rational to a certain extent as well. You know, don't take things in such extremes. And the way I did it is, do you actually love it? Like you have to compete to a certain extent to see what you're really made of. You know, like there's going to be questions and you're going to grow from that. And I think that's only going to help your time in school. I felt like whenever I was in school and working, fighting was my escape from that, you know, but when I was training full time, I also felt like working was my escape from doing fighting full time as well. So I think doing both at the same time actually services you in a way. Um, it's your first year, get as much experience as you can. You know, try to get up early in the morning to get your workout in, go to work, go to college, and then at night, you know, continue with your study when it comes to martial arts. And I think one is going to be an escape from the other, and then you just have to see as a season of grinding. And then once you start to shift, you start to get better, you start to develop skill sets in both avenues, then you can make a better decision.
I think that's pretty great advice. And if I were just to add anything onto that, is that I know a lot of people. I mean, like 90% plus of people who, I mean, once you start training Muay Thai or martial arts, you get really addicted to it and you really love it in the beginning. And it's easy to love it in the beginning. It is hard to love it when shit hits the fan. You're not doing well. You're not seeing progress. You're losing fights. You're not making money and all this kind of stuff. So, because you're so early in the stages of Muay Thai, Jiu Jitsu, and MMA, like Paul said, you got to keep your options open because a lot of people who I know thought that they wanted to be professional fighters in the first year they started fighting. And then shortly after a couple fights or a couple losses or life just getting in the way, they realize that that is not what they want. And so keeping your options open, so this way you kind of do have that safety net in a way, is super important. But on the other side of the coin, if you really know that's what you want to do and you're telling that you need to go all in on it, then I also believe in burning those boats and going all in. But you have to be sure before you do that because otherwise, I mean, you're throwing a lot of other stuff away while you're doing that. So hopefully that answers your question. Uh, we got Kerry Allen, who sponsored Knock More Nation, dude. We gave him some free gear and stuff. He's up in Chiang Mai doing his thing and fighting consistently. And he wants to know, how do you make the jump from local stadiums to bigger mid-level shows like MX Extreme, Max Muay Thai, etc. And I would say it really comes to just fighting often on local shows and getting people to notice you, and also doing your research in regards to who you need to be contacting, uh, what what trainers at your camp at Team Quest might have connections to talk to the promoters or matchmakers at those shows, and just doing your research outside the gym as well. Because, I mean, it's the whole marketing yourself and being your own manager and being your own fighter. Like like Sylvie, for instance, she does her own matchmaking. For well, not matchmaking. She schedules her own fights. She plans all that shit out. And when it comes to Thailand, you kind of have to be that as well. You have to be proactive when it comes to finding the matchups and finding fights, especially if your team isn't really helping you with that much, then you have to be reaching out and trying to find those matchups. So, what about you, Paul? Any
Yeah, you
tips?
have to make some noise at the local stadiums. I know it's tough, man, because I know Carrie's a bit of a higher weight class, is like closer to my weight, and I know exactly how that is. You know, to be up north in Chiang Mai, there's not as many big fighters there, so you're fighting Thais, which are usually smaller. Man, you have to get down to where the tall white and black guys are, you know, like and fight the phalangs. I got to get to Bangla Stadium, Phuket, whether you travel with your trainer or you travel with one of your teammates. Got to get to Samui stadiums, places like that. Go to Bangkok and get fights there. And then once you make some noise on those small shows, you know, if you can't win those fights, then obviously you just got to keep training, keep getting better, and keep doing those fights, and that's okay. You know, don't get too far ahead of yourself at the same time. Like a lot of people is like, how do I get on these giant shows? And then just know that, you know, you're playing with wolves then. Like you don't have time to develop in those fights. Like you go in, boom, you better be fucking good. That type of deal.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, developing in those smaller stadiums for a while, and then you can get on the bigger show and fight. It's you know, taking the long-term investment, I think, is always the way to do it. And then you just got to carry yourself well, you know, practice on how you talk, practice on how you carry yourself. And then when you speak to the managers and people, take your time. You know, like I know a lot of fighters that just message promoters, yo, dude, what up? Yo, you've seen my stuff. I got this many followers. This is what you should do. Blah, blah, blah. You know, so, you know, try to be as well spoken as you can be. And when contacting these people, carry yourself like a professional, and they'll see you as a professional.
Boom. Ryan Pay has another question. Do you get afraid to fight because he's scared shitless of elbows, which is one reason I don't want to tend to fight pro Muay Thai? Thoughts?
I, I think you should get elbowed first and see how you like it, man. Because sometimes you don't know. Maybe you're into that kind of stuff, you know? I mean, I never pictured myself being a professional fighter when I was an amateur. I talk about this all the time. It wasn't out of fear or anything like that. For some reason, it's just like, you know, I didn't grow up around people that were superstars. I didn't grow up around people that were doing that, right? So I think that's like the big trouble that people have in the hoods and stuff like that. They don't know people that are, you know, successful at a certain level, so they do what they're familiar with. If you're with people that are not familiar with being elbowed, like you guys don't trade them, whatever it may be, that's okay. But I think, you know, you may ease yourself into it. Like, I'm not even gonna make any sexual comments. Like, you know, you don't know what you like, man. You don't know what you like. So, you know, there's definitely levels to it. Do I fear fighting? On the other hand, the question, it's what we talked about before. It's really uncomfortable not knowing what's going to happen, and I think that's what most people actually fear. The fight itself, no, I really enjoy it. I enjoy it a lot. How about yourself?
So first, Ryan, I think you have some conflict between what you said before and what you said right now, because you said you think you want to go professional and be a fighter in Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, and MMA. And if you're gonna go that route, man, you gotta almost be ready to get elbowed. And if you don't intend to fight pro Muay Thai, but you intend to fight pro MMA, like elbows are part of the game, man. And so you should think a little bit deeper about that and what direction you want to go. Dude, honestly, elbows, yeah, they hurt, but so do kicks to the head and knees to the body and punches to the nose. Like everything fucking hurts, man. It's not like one weapon that you got to be scared of. Like, not necessarily need to be scared of it, but you need to be respectful of like all eight limbs, bro. And so elbows, yeah, they can slice and dice you, but so could a well placed knee to the face. So could a punch. Like anybody can, anything can cut you. And so I don't think that fear of elbows should hold you back at all. And if anything, just work on elbow defense a little bit more. When it comes to, am I afraid to fight? I definitely get like nervous and anxious, and yeah, I'm not so much afraid to fight as I am afraid of not performing, not showing my
Yeah.
true potential and my true skills. I'm afraid, yeah, like as much as I'm afraid of being a bitch, and that's what kind of why I fight, because like I don't want to fight and then like we talked about this in my most recent fight. I got knocked down, and I remember thinking in my head, like, yo, I could stay down and all this would be over. No more pain, and I could just feel better. But the fact that I was able to push past that made me realize that, like, I am as tough as I think I am, and I can perform to my true potential. Whereas if I kind of wanted to stay comfortable in a way, if I wanted to just give in to the feeling of, oh, it's over, I don't have to go through any more pain, then that shit would have ate at me. I'm afraid of that. I'm afraid of getting knocked down and then allowing myself to stay down even though I can get back up. I'm afraid of disappointing myself more than I am of anything. I guess that's what it comes down to.
And just to add on to the question and being afraid of certain techniques or whatever it may be, there's a lot of fighters that don't like getting punched in the face. And kind of what you said, like working on your elbow defense. There are a lot of fighters that actually don't like getting punched in the face. I'm one of the people that likes it probably too much, like for my own good. where I get hit. I'm like, but for those that don't, they get really good at not getting punched in the face. Like the guys that are really slick and things like that. So, like whatever your downfall is, it actually may be a positive thing. So maybe you just will never get hit by elbows because you're like, nah, I don't want any part of that. Right. So like just like I really don't like getting kicked on my arm. I don't like it. So I'm going to get really good at leaning back, or I'm going to get really good at checking and defending and things like that. I know we have more questions coming in. We are running out of time, but hopefully you guys catch us on the next one so we can answer more of your questions. We're going to do a Q&A at the end, or perhaps we'll take some of the questions from this one, and Aaron maybe will answer all your questions on the next episode. So we'll try to take note of these things. We always take note of what people are saying in the comments after the fact or during the podcast. And then we try to take that into consideration for the next podcast. So really looking forward to speaking with you guys again. Anything you want to leave them off with, Sean?
Just that our dates for the next talent camp are announced in February 3rd to March 3rd. Paul and I will be hosting that at Diamond Muay Thai again. And there'll also be one in April as well. Just go to thailandtrainingcamp.com to find out more information. And also, if you want to learn more about my mastermind coaching program, where we have 8 people signed up already who are really dedicated and committed to leveling up their Muay Thai and transforming the game and accomplishing their goals, just go to muaythaimastermind.com and fill out the application and see if you're a good fit. And like I said, it's not for everybody, but it's only for people who when you talk about knee and the sports motivation podcast, it's not for people who are pussies, basically. Like if you're ready
not willing to do this 24/7, find another podcast.
Exactly. So like it's for the serious people who are ready to take the next step in their training and in their life. And I'm really excited with the people that already joined it. And I hope to have a few more people because the group is really good. And I know we'll all feed off each other. And like we were talking about, being surrounded by a circle of motivated, driven people, that's what I'm trying to do to create this. So what about you, man?
Head over muaythaiathlete.com. Head over to all of Sean's websites, everything that we're doing right now. Man, the Thailand training camp, that's all I'm really looking forward to now in February. And then we have the date announced for my fight, Chicago, Glory 58. I'm not looking to take any commissions. They let me know. We can either give a discount to whoever is coming. So go ahead, take that 10% discount. If you're in the Chi-Town area, you can come in and watch me fight. There are 10 welterweights fighting on the card. I'm going to be right before the Super Fight series. You're going to be able to watch it streaming everywhere from YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. So I'm going to put on a show for you guys. And I'm also the reserve bout for the tournament. So it would be real unfortunate if someone got hurt. But it would be real fortunate to be able to step back in there again for the second time that night. So, yeah, just Banasiak, my last name, all Banasiak, all capitals. Whenever you're buying your ticket to Glory 58, you get a discount 10% off the regular pricing. Hope to see you guys there. If not, I hope you guys enjoy the stream and the show that I'm going to put on. I've been working on some things, redefining myself, and hopefully it all shines.
All right, man. All right. Awesome podcast. Thanks all for tuning in. Until next week, we'll catch you on the flip side.